don't get along with the Africans, and they don't get along with us. They've been taught to hate us and dislike us and think we're a fool. And we've been taught we don't like their attitude. They act like they're superior because we're walking around talking about we are African Americans. We're not African Americans. We are American Africans. This is how African look that's been indoctrinated with all the nonsense of America. This is how an African looks when they have been robbed of their God, their politics, and their principles. We are a result. This is what it looks like.
I don't know if there was a secret memo that was released about how African Americans and migrant Africans into America are to relate with themselves. What I heard from this woman jazzed me to the gore. I don't know where this is coming from, but it is wrong to sum up opinions by one person or to assume that everyone has a different mindset or a particular way they feel about a race. And this is what she succeeded in doing. I understand that African Americans have a clear disconnect from Africans and haven't read a lot of books, because I read a lot of African American literature, Caribbean literature by Black Caribbeans. And it was because we needed to identify certain similarities, traits, the challenges that the Black population around the world faces, which are issues around identity, the search for identity, the quest for identity, acceptance. And this typifies some of the actions repeatedly you see in some patterns of behavior. But it helped me to understand them the more, appreciate what they've been through, generational trauma, and not until anybody understands this, you won't understand how to approach or try to proffer solutions. And I believe till date, the institutions still don't understand them. And it's not about African Americans alone. It's about Africans around the world that were shipped during the transatlantic slave trade, as well as other forms of slavery that existed through the Sahara Desert. I'm not in any way trying to feel superior. We're all victims of what has happened. But I always love to see things from the positive side of life. Why should African Americans always think that Africans don't like them? And even if a select few were discriminatory in a way, it is because they are also victims of what they don't know about. I don't think there's a memo or there's a way anyone has been conditioned to treat African Americans. In recent times, they've been trooping to Africa, buying properties and living fine. And they're even comfortable there than they were in America, because African way of living is a communal way of living where everyone cares about one another and everyone is supportive. And this is what, even when I got in here, I expected to see, but it's not the same. However, Africans also have learned to cope. Africans, if they want to also tell their stories in America, it's going to be shocking. But that's not enough to sum a few experiences and say this is what Africans have been told and how they have been told to treat their brothers here. No, I'm not in any way trying to defend anybody. I'm an advocate of humanity, irrespective of your race, religion, and gender. But we must tell ourselves the truth. The Black population has not done well in integrating with one another, and no one would teach us how to do this best. We must have to find a way to complement ourselves, identify our strengths and weaknesses, and try to collaborate in such a way that it will be helpful for the Black population and human race. And this stems from one thing: unity. I'm from Nigeria. I've seen a lot of African Americans trooping to Ghana. I've seen that happening to other parts of Africa. I've seen that also happening a little bit around Nigeria. And I go like, why don't you travel more to some of the, particularly Nigeria, which is about the cheapest economy and the best place to even live in when you're looking at saving costs within the African continent. Despite the leadership challenges, it's still one of the cheapest places to live in. If Africans treat African Americans in the motherland the way they love to enjoy and live in, that should tell us how we've been taught to relate with Africans anywhere, irrespective of where they come from. This lady is misinforming everybody, and this is not how Africans from the motherland have been taught to relate and identify with their fellow blacks wherever they find them. The black population has gone through a lot of struggles, a lot of battles, and this is no time to promote this type of divisions. It's been happening for too long, and we need to close these gaps, identify where we can leverage on our strengths and work on our weaknesses, rather than complaining all the time and trying to blame about superiority or inferiority and all that. This is no time for that. We have all gone through different experiences back on the continent, in the motherland, and in the diaspora, wherever we find ourselves. We must change from this path of blame games. We must try to relate with one another the more and identify how best to collaborate. And that's the only way we can understand one another and grow the culture. I love to read from you your experiences, and I say thanks for watching.